Good evening, gang. It's Friday night, Friday the 19th of March 2021. A very good evening to you and welcome to tonight's United Kingdom Talk, coming to you from Television Centre in Bracknell. Can you see I've got this jacket on tonight? I've not been able to wear this for a while and now I can get it on again. Yes! I think I might have dipped slightly below 13 stone, but I'm not sure unless I weigh myself, and I only weigh myself one day a week. Okay, you're only allowed to do that one day a week, our weighings. All right, I'm wondering if I dipped slightly below my 13.0.6 score that I got on Wednesday night. Well, fingers crossed. It's been quite a nice day here after a lovely radio show this morning. And then after that, I went and did some litter picking. I found another tyre. That's 3 tyres I've found now. 3 tyres. Can you believe that over a period of time? I could open one of those shops that do... I mean, I suppose... How do they do that? You know, when they do retreads? If I got like a Stanley knife and started cutting out a new tread, I could set up shop somewhere, couldn't I? And start selling retreaded tyres or whatever they're called, something like that. Don't ever buy those. It's not worth the risk, seriously. If there's anything you don't want to save money on, it's cheap tyres. Never buy cheap tyres, you know. 70 or more, some of you younger people, 70 mile an hour or more on the motorway, bang, it ain't good. Don't ever buy cheap tyres or and don't listen to them. Oh, they're okay. No, don't ever buy cheap tyres. Very bad. Very bad. So, yeah, I found that. Did a bit of litter picking. In actual fact, the length of path I go, which is along a road called 9 Mile Ride, which is quite near my house, that is completely clear now, and that's a long length. It's not just me who's done it. I done from sort of there to there, and there was a particularly bad area, and I noticed on this little litter picking group that I'm on now that they had a meet at this particular area where it's really bad, and that's now been cleared, and it's just wonderful to see what we've achieved. It really is. Anyway, welcome to the show. There's a text number. If you'd like to contact me, please use the text number, or you can use an email. There's the email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Excuse me. Bit of a frog in the throat tonight. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, or use the text number 07451 287 337. All right, 07451 287 337, and I'll come to your texts in a moment. But Vera's already texted in today, and she was with the radio show this morning. Vera is a bit of a fan of Mr. Alan Ross, aren't you, my love? Vera is a fan of Alan Ross, who will be on the radio tonight, reachonair.com at midnight. And Vera says, "Hi, Chris, I have to say on your radio show this morning, I thought you said Randy Ghosts. Well, have you had one of those in the house? I mean, I'll be honest. I'll take anything now. It's been so long, dear. I'll take ghosts, you know, humans, animals. I don't care. I just don't care anymore." No, it wasn't Randy Ghosts. It was Randy Goats, dear. Randy Goats. And I'll tell you why I say that. This story appeared in the Metro, which is kind of a London paper, really. Vera would be able to get this. And the story, have you ever seen any Randy Goats? I've got a wonderful story about a little farm that was sort of a zoo we went to once. You may have heard this story before, actually. And I was there with my nephew, his wife, great niece Evie, great niece Olivia, and great nephew Harry. And we went to this little zoo. And they had a children's section, and there were goats. And you went in the gate and these goats were there and you could buy food. I think it was about £1 for a handful of food or something like that. Must make a blooming fortune on that, dear. It looked quite tasty, to be honest. And I started nibbling away at the food myself. The goats were going crazy. Why is he eating our food? Well, because I bleed well paid for it, that's why. Why give it to the goats? I sat there just, nibbling away at my goat food. It was quite nice. I started getting a headache. I think horns were actually starting to grow out of my head, to be honest. Not a pleasant experience. Anyway, so these goats are there. And the kids have got some food now. And Harry's sort of giving out the food, and I think he was giving out the food. I can't remember now. But Evie, for some reason, a goat went over to Evie, and then they all went over to her. That scared the life out of her. And she's like, no, get them away. And it seemed to be the more that she was telling them to keep away, the more that they were coming towards her. 2,000 goats were scattered around there, and she didn't like that at all. They barred you, didn't they? I don't like the eyes. They got strange eyes. Very strange and mysterious eyes have got goats, haven't they? Eh? Anyway, that's my little goat story there. I don't think I'd like to be alone with the ones with the horns. That must hurt, mustn't it? Can the little spikes on the end of the horns, can they get to you? Well, they're kind of curved, aren't they? They'd have to kind of do that if they wanted to spike you with these horns, wouldn't they? Because they're curved at the end. Mind you, give you a nasty barge. Oh, I don't want to be barged by a goat. Perhaps they were randy, because in this story they are. In the metro, wild goats have invaded a seaside town in record numbers, dear, after they missed out on contraception because of lockdown. They haven't been taking their pills. Have you? Not for you tonight then, sir. Take the pills, dear. These goats in Kashmir, the Kashmiri goats, they're called Kashmiri goats, have been holding up traffic and wandering into people's gardens after flocking to Lanindo in Wales in search of food. I think I've been to a funeral there, Landundo. No. I'll have to ask Gary Owen how to say that. I can't say that. Landudno. Yeah, Landudno. There you go. In search of food. Well, there isn't any. I've eaten it all. They usually venture down from the Great Orme, that must be a river, headland in spring, where food is scarce, only occasionally coming into the town. But this year, their numbers have boomed after not getting their normal contraception injections from vets due to COVID-19 restrictions. Why? Can you get it off goats then? Well, you don't want a goat to sneeze in your face. Not very pleasant. I mean, worse than that, a camel. They spit at you. They do. Camels spit it. If they don't like you, don't have your mouth open if you're near a camel. A camel. There's a lot of phlegm comes out of a camel's mouth. Wildlife experts are worried that some may now be hit by cars. Now people are allowed to travel and businesses are preparing to reopen. And it's a bit worrying. She says there are quite a number now and they are venturing further than before. They're looking for other goats to do it with. I mean, I might go down there myself. Got to get something. There seems to be a rogue herd of goats that have wandered across the town in a completely new area where they have never been before. That's a concern, she told the BBC. Oh, those poor goats. They just want friends. That's what they want. It's a great concern at night time. Don't these things ever sleep? It's a great concern at night time, actually, because they tend to wander more at night and the roads have been very quiet. What noise do goats make? I don't know. Drivers can literally come round the corner and be faced with 8 or 9 goats in the road. Well, it's no different to being in London, except there you get muggers. Notice the same sort of thing, different shape, and 2 more legs. Yeah. There's your choice. What's your choice going to be? Drive through, I don't know, Hackney, and be surrounded by a load of young muggers on little mopeds and bikes, or go to Welsh Wales and be surrounded by a load of randy goats. The warden of Great Orme Country Park, Sally Pidcock, I'm not making that up, said she hoped that the goats would return home, adding that her team hoped to give them contraceptive injections later in the year if lockdown rules allowed. So there we are. They do look like they got quite big horns, these goats. And I haven't got a photo to show you that they've got... Oh, yes, I can. One moment, please. Oh, they look nice, these goats. They're very furry. Do you know what I mean? 1 minute. There we are. Let's just take a picture of that goat there. Oh, hang on, I'm still on video mode. There we are. There we are. Picture of goat. There you go. Look. They look quite cuddly, those ones, don't they? Not all goats look cuddly, like cats, like dogs. You know, some dogs look lovely and cuddly, like lassie-type dogs. What are they called? You know, lassie-type dogs. Lassie, come home. Beautiful dogs. Those barking Alsatians that are growling at you, nah, I don't think so. I don't really want to cuddle one of those. They look like they're going to eat me. Please don't eat me. I don't want to be eaten by a goat. Anyway, that's the goat story for you this evening. So if you're going down to Welsh Wales, be very, very careful about the goats, my darlings. Dangerous things. Let's read some of your messages coming into the show this evening. That text number up there in the top left-hand corner, 07451 287 337. 07451 287 337. I think I've got that off by heart now, that one. Where's my texts gone? There they are. Oh, it's a lot of you. Gosh. Hello to Christina Hunt. Good evening, lovely Christina. Have a great show. Thank you, Christina. Nice to have you with us again, my dear. There's Alan Ross. Vera is a big fan of yours, Alan. Good evening, Alan Ross. He's preparing for a show tonight, midnight till 3 a.m. reachonair.com. How many people listen to Alan? Send us a message in. Send us a message of thanks for him, and I'll read them out, okay? Good evening to Rachel Wheatland. Good evening, Rachel. Hello to Diane Jebb. Good evening, Diane. Good evening to Ollie K. Ollie K is in the house. When are you on the radio, Ollie? That's soon, isn't it? He says, could you give a big happy birthday to Jack Brookbank? It's his birthday today, and he's sad it's in lockdown from Ollie. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do a special birthday, shall we? Shall we do a special birthday for your friend? Now, I will have to get the special birthday music, so if you wait for a moment, and I shall locate it. One moment, please. Trying to connect you. Now, where is that going to be? I think it's in Jingles. One moment, please. Are you ready? What's his name again? Jack Brookbank. Okay, Jack. One moment, please. Hang on, my music's still playing from earlier, isn't it? My warm-up music. Here we go. Here we go, Jack. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jack Brookbank. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Happy birthday to Ollie's friend, Jack Brookbank. Hope you have a nice night. Sorry that you have to stay at home. It's not much fun, is it? But never mind. There's always next year. Always next year, okay? Good evening to Mick Davenport, who says, you could use the tyres as planters. Just paint them up. We have one. Yes. And someone else suggested potatoes. You can do potatoes in tyres. There we go. Let's move on to that, actually. Your suggestions. Tyres. Okay? What can we do with some old tyres? I mean, the council have now collected them. I just take them to a point. Anyone who's registered for litter, we can put rubbish in a certain point, let the council know, and within 2 hours they come and collect it. It's fantastic. But you've got to be registered to be able to do that. And so the tyres have been picked up now. But in the future, if I find any more tyres, instead of ringing the council up and asking them to pick them up, what would you suggest we could do with some old tyres? Sounds a fantastic idea, actually, Mick. Using them as planters. You can, or perhaps don't have to paint them up, I suppose. One would just, I assume there's special paint for rubber. Would I be right with that? Sort of paint that would be sort of a little bit elastic, I would assume. Couldn't just use any old gloss paint because it'd peel off, wouldn't it? Paint for rubber tyres, is there? There must be. There must be. And I suppose if you want like a tool, because planters are very expensive. Some of those planters, you go down a garden centre, you want a big planter, say goodbye to 50 quid, mate. They ain't cheap. You get a couple of tyres, just stack them up like that, as tall as you want. And someone said to me to do potatoes in them. Literally, just put them down, fill them up with earth, in the potatoes. The potatoes grow, put a bit more earth on. The potatoes grow, put a bit more earth on. Potatoes grow, put a bit more earth on. Then leave them. And then a little while later, you start having wonderful potatoes. I did potatoes once. Quite an easy thing to grow, actually. Yeah. The only thing is, when you want to stop growing potatoes, you've got to make sure you've got them all out, because they come back years later. They're still. I thought I dug those up. You still get potatoes out, and you recognise the leaves straight away. Oh, there's a potato under there. Great idea, actually, Mick. Good evening to Mr. Ray Reynolds. Good evening, Ray. Are you watching us on one of your large satellite dishes? Ray Reynolds got a motorised satellite dish. Yes. Fantastic. Vera says, not a Randy ghost, but a Randy llama chased me in a field once. Did it really? They're funny things, aren't they, llamas? Particularly beautiful creatures, though, I think. I quite like the long necks. I like giraffes. Oh, beautiful. Such gentle creatures. It kills me when I see someone's gone out and shot one. Yeah, you're brave, aren't you, mate? And then they proudly display themselves on a Facebook post, don't they? Man or woman standing with a gun next to a poor dead giraffe. It's disgusting. Sport, they call it. Awful. You know I'm vegetarian, but I'm telling you, there's one thing raising animals for food, and another thing just raising them so that they can run around and someone can shoot them. What's all that about? That's a sickness, that is. That is an absolute sickness that people do that. Disgusting people. And especially things like giraffes. Such gentle creatures. Gentle. Good evening to Fran Green. Good evening, Fran. Good evening to Jeff Burley. Evening, Jeff. Who says, you caught us out starting early. No, 8 o'clock. I never started early. How did I start early? Do you mean the clock and the globe going around? No, that usually comes on anywhere between half an hour and an hour before the show starts. And the reason for that is it gives you, all right, let's just, I'm ready now. And you know you're there. There's that. Plus, anyone sort of going around the YouTube channels and seeing live streams might see us. And then, there's something starting there. Well, join in at 8 o'clock. That's the whole purpose of that hour warm-up thing. But we do start at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, of course, for the bingo on Sunday night. All right. Hello to you, Jeff. Jeff says, on the subject of the Wi-Fi oven, because I've got a Wi-Fi oven now, and I'll be testing it out later. Yes, at this very moment, in my new Wi-Fi oven are two, I just don't care, 2 Aldi vegan sausage. Oh, it might be little. Doesn't matter. Little. 2 little vegan sausage rolls. I'm having those and some baked beans for dinner tonight. And I have my app. They're in the oven now. I've set the temperature and I've switched it to Wi-Fi mode. And I'm hoping about 20 minutes, half an hour before the end of the show to be able to turn on the oven with my Hoover Wi-Fi app. Well, watch this. Now, there's the oven. There's the oven. There's the oven there. I've only got one Hoover appliance, so we click. Watch this. Look at this. Yes, look. You see that button there? All I've got to do is press that, and it should start. Conventional oven. So it's. Oh, can I change that? Oh, convection and fan. I can change that as well. Look. So we'll have it on convection and did I say ejection? Convection and fan, and it's set for 30 minutes. So it would go off after 30 minutes, which I think is excellent because you don't want to be like turning it on and then perhaps something will go wrong and you can't turn the damn thing off. There'd just be this little black thing inside by the time you get back to do the oven. So there we are. Now I should be able to just push that red button, okay, say 20 minutes, half an hour before the end of the show, without actually going down. And then, right, when I finish the show, dinner's ready. It's almost like having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, isn't it? Except you don't have to talk to the bastards. It's even better. Why have a girlfriend or boyfriend when you can have a Wi-Fi oven? That's what I say. Wonderful. Blooming wonderful. It'll all be ready. It'll be like having my mum back. Oh, wouldn't it? Christopher, Dinner's ready. Thanks, Mum. Wow, how much do you all miss that, eh? Yes, I know you do. Thank you, Jeff. Good evening to Maureen in London. Good evening, Maureen. Nice to see you, Maureen. Evening, Maureen. Hello to Leslie Ross. Good evening, Leslie. Evening, Chris, from myself and Gary. Woofs, woofs. In case you don't know what that means, dear, it's dogs. It's dogs, what? Brilliant entertainer as always. Who is? I don't get that. Woofs, woofs. In case you don't know what it means, it's dogs. I don't get that, Leslie. Please explain, my dear. Am I being a bit thick here? Well, it won't be the first time, will it, my loves? Let's be honest. I'm not a particularly intelligent person, as you well know. That's why I'm on YouTube and not on Talk Radio or LBC. Talking of Talk Radio, incidentally, I mentioned on the I was mentioned on the radio show this morning. I'd looked around once again at the TV this morning. All the breakfast programmes, BBC, ITV and Sky, depressing. Talking about the viruses, that poor lady who was killed, Sarah something, isn't it? You know, and the policeman that's gone in prison. What else was there on there? Oh, three, not two, three who have adopted. I think something to do with adoption or something like that. That was on. There's nothing that's making me smile here. Nothing. That was at 10 to 8. I'll give it another chance, right? I'll give it another. Watched a couple of YouTube videos and then I tried again at about 10 past 8. Exactly the same. Depressing, boring, unentertaining. No entertainment whatsoever. Nothing. But then, so I put it back on YouTube and I discovered that there's a presenter I quite like on Talk Radio, Julia Hartley-Brewer. I think she's brilliant. She's very similar to me, except much more popular. Right? But she will tell you how it is. There's no mucking around. It's the same as me. Look, some people don't like that. She tells you how it is. And I think she's brilliant. Well, Talk Radio are streaming her on the YouTube. And it's good quality pictures, all high definition. It's just like watching the telly. And she's done herself up a bit. She's got nice makeup and a little bit of a, chain going round there. Nice clothes. Beautiful, lovely lady. So that might be something that might interest you in the morning, unless, of course, listening to one of the music shows on the radio. I quite like to watch a little bit of information in the morning to, that I might be able to use in my own show. So that's why I try and find a bit of news. But honestly, it's the whole BBC, ITV, Sky presentation thing in the morning leaves me absolutely stone cold. It does. Don't like it. Don't like it anymore. So found something else. So I'll be watching that. And I'll see how that goes next week. Julia Hartley-Brewer. And you'll need to look for the YouTube channel Talk Radio. Now, I would imagine there might be a few Talk Radios. It's like a red logo, okay? And I think you'll probably see 4 people in that logo. I don't know. Or just type in Julia Hartley-Brewer Talk Radio. That might find it. All right? So there's something for you to look at on the telly instead of the mainstream crap, which is just getting worse and worse. Worse and worse. Leslie shares, Gary is my goat. Oh, I don't know what you mean by that, my dear. Oh, I've got pictures in my head now. He's not bad looking, Gary. I was having a look at him, Leslie. You're quite a good looking couple, aren't you, really? Yeah, it's not a joke. I think you are quite a good-looking couple. Good evening to Jason Hughes. Hello to George Bond. George is been treated tonight to KFC bucket. Yes, this is the same George Bond who's on a bit of a diet, trying to lose weight. What's he having tonight? KFC bucket. Honestly, George. No, dear. You've got it all wrong. Jacket potato, no butter, maybe a little bit of cheese, and beans. That should be your dinner, dear. Or Slimmer's World chips, you do them in the oven, get some potatoes, chop it up, little bit of spiralite in the oven, 220 degrees, about 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on how good your oven is, dear. I mean, my new oven, I put chips in there, 30 seconds, they're done. New oven, Wi-Fi oven. Who's got a Wi-Fi? Have any of you got a Wi-Fi oven? No. No Wi-Fi. Ow. Why don't you use the timer? Because I don't know what time I'm going to be back. I'm a very busy person. Busy. I'm not just sitting there doing nothing all day eating buckets of KFC, dear. Honestly, KFC. I hope you enjoy it, George. All right. Don't give anyone. Is your nan having some? Is your nan having some of the chicken, or are you having it all yourself? Do let us know, George. Good evening to the lovely Denise Andrews. Good evening, Denise Andrews. Glad you liked your little gift. I'm glad you heard that, Denise. I meant to call you this morning. Sorry. I got stuck on a call with my agent, actually. So she gets me, or got me DJing karaoke work in the past. Kelly Wild, her name is. So I was talking to her in 10 minutes, that turned into an hour because we haven't spoken for about a year and we're talking about work and all that. And she says she might be able to get me something in Lincoln. Actually, she's put out a couple of feelers to get a night in Lincoln. There's a place there called The Scene. I think it's called The Scene. So she's sort of inquiring there to see if they might be interested. Obviously not now, but, when it reopens or something. That would be quite nice, having something up there for when I'm at the caravan. I did have a job in Cleethorpes for a while. Can you believe that's 2 years ago? That Cleethorpes job. Because of course it wasn't last year. It didn't happen last year. It was the year before. 2 years ago that was. That little job in Cleethorpes, which was okay. It was okay, but it didn't really build. It really struggled, actually. Really struggled that night eventually. But one of those things, isn't it? But thanks very much, Denise. Denise made me a new notebook, which is downstairs. I keep it downstairs on the settee for making notes for stuff to do during the show. So thanks very much for that, Denise. You didn't have to do it. I didn't expect that. Thank you ever so much for that. There's some lovely, kind people around, really, sending me little bits and pieces now and again. Mick says I used white car spray paint to do his tyres. Ah, okay. So just normal spray paint. Doesn't that peel off, though? I would have thought there'd be some sort of special paint for rubber. Can anyone else think possibly what to do with old used car tyres? You can't put them on the car anymore because there's no tread left. Don't let them go down that far. It's not worth the risk. When it rains, you go flying across the bleeding road when you go round a corner because the tyres can't grip the road. And we have some rain, don't we, sometimes in the summer now? Have you noticed that? Like when that rain comes down, reminds me of being in Florida, actually. There in the summer, and you'll be driving along and the sun's out, and all of a sudden, it absolutely chucks it down. And you can't see the markings on the road when you're driving in Florida, when that rain comes down. It's that heavy. And then 5 minutes later, it's gone. The rain stops. Within a couple of minutes, it's all dried up from the ground, and it's like it never rained. It's the weirdest weather, Florida. You want to see the lightning, though, there. Beautiful and frightening at the same time. Oh, Alan's only on till 2 tonight. It's his 80s chart show on a Friday into Saturday. Funnily enough, you mentioned the 80s, Alan. Kelly Wild, who I just mentioned earlier, we were talking about that earlier. Enormously popular at the moment, the 80s. Enormously popular. That will move on soon to the 90s. You're sort of near my age, Alan, aren't you? And you would have seen us move. Even the oldies, they move from the 60s to the 70s. Now it's the 80s. And that will move to the 90s soon, Wonderful, really. Wonderful, all this music over the years that we've enjoyed, isn't it? Good evening to Adrian Richardson. Good evening, Adrian. Who says, do you know giraffes have huge tongues? Some useless information for you there. Well, not really. That's not useless. Why is that useless information? Who's tongues like that? Do you like a long tongue, do you, Adrian? Yeah, just wondered there. John says, what happens to the oven if you lose the internet, I wonder? Well, what happens if the electric goes off? Same thing. Won't work. No different. Ollie has got a set of lights, LED lights behind my TV that I control via my phone. And funny you should mention that, Ollie. I only said to my mate a couple of days ago, do you know I might light some lights behind my telly? And he said, oh, you can get those. And apparently, some of these lights, you say you can control yours with your phone. Some of these LED lights that you get for the back of the telly somehow connect to the telly. And depending on the picture that you've got on the telly, they kind of match up to the colour that illuminates behind your telly. Like, for example, if you was watching this now, I suppose the back of your telly might be lit up in sort of a pinky red colour, wouldn't they? It's getting clever, Ollie. I think it's really clever. Woof, 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 and you are a brilliant entertainer. Thank you very much, Leslie. We just like to have a little bit of a laugh here. We don't really do too much serious stuff, do we? Mick painted it 3 years ago, and it's still fine with the white, just normal spray car paint he's used on there. So that's worth knowing. I think, to recycle something like that, rather than recycle it as in chop it all up and then, make it into more tyres. I suppose they can do that, can't they? Good evening to Daniel Woodhouse. He's just had his fish. He's been down to the fish stall today. Got loads of fish. Was it mackerel you got there? And all sorts of bits and pieces. Good evening to you, Daniel. And Weird City Citizens there. Good evening to you. Make a garden compost from stacked tyres like a garden feature. Now, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I have kind of got a garden compost. All I've got in the corner of right near the back fence, in the corner of my garden, I've got grass cuttings and things. I literally just tip them in and just leave them there. And eventually they just go down. Where do they go? I don't know where they go. I'm not so sure you should be chucking it straight onto the growing areas, because I would assume there's quite a lot of weed things and all that. But I started doing that when the council started taking the mick at how much they were charging us annually for our garden waste bins. My sister's, I think my sister has to pay 40 quid a year just to have garden waste. Bracknell, hang on. It's like with all these charges, the first charge they charge is always quite reasonable. It'd be something like 20 quid. But now they want £55 a year. That's a lot of money, isn't it? That's for the 240 bin collection charge, or £51 a year for the £140. 140. See, I think that's a lot of money. £55 a year to just take away your grass cuttings. I just put them on the little thing in the corner. They just don't seem to get too high. And plus, of course, if you've got a communal area, surely grass cuttings, it's not like rubbish, is it? It's not like you're chucking cans and which I've seen people do. Well, that's why I go out litter picking. It's not like chucking cans. You spread a bit of grass around. Within a couple of days, it's gone, isn't it? So, it's just they just take the mick, don't they? Adrian, recycle the car tyres by use them as toilet seat. They go for miles. Toilet seats. Well, it'd be warmer than a bit of plastic, wouldn't it? Rubber, I suppose, on your toilet. But they would be quite high. You know what they would be like? Any of you got disabled toilets? My mate's got one of those. And it's like, so you got the toilet, and then on top of it, there's like this seat, which is like that. Well, they'd be like that. They'd be like, perhaps they could make disabled toilets like that. Do you ever sit there on the toilet sometimes and you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, it's a bit low here. Put a car tyre on the top. Job done. I mean, clean it first. Otherwise, you get tyre marks around your bum. A little bit like having the cane at school when you had that mark across your bum that we were talking about the other day. Car tyres, it'd be black, wouldn't it? Or perhaps you could put some varnish on it to stop the black coming off on your bum. Hire you up a little bit like that. Jeff, use white wall tyre paint from car spares. There you go. Jeff is telling us the similar to Mick there, the paint to use. Excellent idea. Do you know what, Jeff? Actually, outside the front of our caravans, yours and mine, we could have a stack of how high would we have them? I would have them three high. We could have one, certainly two each side, couldn't we? So that would be 6 tyres saved from going in the tip, and then round the back. Because I'm a bit luckier than you, I get the sun full force right along that front there. I mean, I can have potatoes and all sorts there. I'm going to have to start collecting tyres, I think. I wish I hadn't dumped the last lot now, to be honest. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? What a good idea. Excellent ideas from you today. George Bond says you could make the tyres for a wing. A what? You could make the tyres for a wing. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you might want to check your spelling or something now. I don't know what you mean by that. You make the tyres for a wing. I don't know what a wing is. John, if your service provider goes down, your oven will be too. What muppet? Yeah, and if your electric goes down, your oven will go down. I mean, you must be on really bad internet there, John, to have your internet goes down, because mine doesn't. For example, here in the house, in the last 15 years, it may have gone down 4 times, 5 times in 10 years. That's not bad, is it, dear? I think you're just a little bit anti-technology there. Where's Sherry, dear? I can't get any sense out of you. Can you put Sherry on, love? I'm not getting any sense out of you at all, dear. God's sake, man, what is he going on about, dear? Get Sherry, but just give the phone to her, will you, my love? Stop mucking around, love. Give the phone to Sherry, if you don't mind. Okay? All right, well, thanks very much for all those suggestions there, gang. I like the plant idea, and I do kind of wish I hadn't got the council to collect the damn things now, but that's one of those things. Now, how about this one, gang? George says it meant to say swing. Well, what part of it meant to say swing? Could you not make the tyres... Okay, make the tyres for a swing, so turn them into a swing. Yeah, I suppose you could do. You'd have to put 2 holes in the side, maybe a rope on there, put it round some sort of... I don't know, one of those... What's that? It's not a tripod, is it? You know, one of those up, along, down pole type things. Hang it there. You could have a little swing, couldn't you? I think I've seen tyres of swings before. Very important to recycle stuff. By that, I don't mean, you know, recycle stuff as in the recycle bin. If you can make something out of something without it even going in the recycle bin, even better. For example... Now, you know all this is held up with bits of tape and string, don't you? Where's Mark Bowles tonight? Where's my Mark? My Mark's not here tonight. Oh, I'm not happy. My Mark isn't here. Where's my Mark Bowles tonight? Not fair. I think, did I see something about Mike in Brighton? Where is he now? There he is. Mike in Brighton says, "Hi Chris, looking forward to tonight's show. Stopwatch on standby to see how long you can last without mentioning Mark." I got a picture for him, but I need his permission to show it to you. Hang on. Let's see if he's answered the email. No, he hasn't. No. His missus sent me a picture. There's a picture of Mark for you. It's very nice, but I'll have to wait for his permission to show it to you. He's laying on the settee, looking a bit moody. That's what we like, girl, isn't it? Moody. Don't want anyone nice. Oh, would you like to... No, just throw me about a bit. That's okay. All right. Fran. I would use the old tyres for rhubarb plants. Again, an excellent idea. I'm not going to throw any more away. I'll bring them back next time. I'll probably bring them back here and then I'll wonder, oh, what a stupid idea that was. I've actually got some rhubarb in the garden. To be honest, it's in the wrong place. It gets in the way. You know, when you're cutting the grass, oh, the rhubarb's in the way again. I keep mowing it down, but it comes back up again. Rhubarb, that's another plant that's quite easy to grow. Do you like rhubarb crumble? Ooh, I bet Mick Davenport can do that. Rhubarb and apple crumble. My mate don't like rhubarb. Good, I'll have the whole thing then, thanks very much. Rhubarb, quite like rhubarb. You can force it, can't you, if you turn pots upside down and all that in the garden. I've just been tidying up the garden, actually, last few days. I'm surrounded here by pine trees, so I get a lot of cones in the garden. And then, especially once it's been windy, they're blooming everywhere, these cones. And you might think, well, why don't you just leave them? They just look unsightly. So I've got this scarifier thing, like that. Usually takes up half the blooming garden as well, to be honest. And once that's gone round, it picks a lot of them up. But then I have to literally do it by hand and pick them up, and I just chuck them over the fence. You know, not doing any damage, are they, at all? So thanks for that. Mike in Brighton says, did Kevin... Oh, it's not Kevin the cat, dear. Well, it just shows how much you bleed and listen, doesn't it, Mike? Kevin the cat? Who's Kevin? Who's Kevin? It's Gary, dear. Gary the cat. Gary the ginger cat, who I've just fed about an hour ago. Just fed him. Mike says, did Gary the cat scratch you on your right hand? I noticed it in your oven unboxing video, and again, when you showed the photo on your camera. You mean that? Look! No. Gary has never, ever shown any violence to me whatsoever. You know, some cats, they go a little bit mad sometimes, don't they? Aren't they funny cats? One, you literally, and my nephew's cats are the same. He's got two lovely cats, Belle and Rocky. And Rocky's beautiful, jet black cat, beautiful cat, right? And he comes round and he nuzzles. You want to be snug. Okay. Once you start stroking it, you can't stop. Because if you do, he bites you. If you stop stroking him, he bites you. And the other one they've got, Belle, that's like a tabby cat, okay? You start stroking her and he's all right, for a while. And then for no reason at all, suddenly it just bite you and jump off. They just go from perfectly placid till angry or fed up, don't they? They get pissed off, cats. Why is that? And you don't know that it's going to happen. There's no warning. It's like the way they wake up. I don't know. How do you wake up in the morning? Oh, got to get up in a minute. Oh, gee, I'll just turn over a little bit more. Or lights hurting my eyes. You're like that. Not cats. You go like that. And a cat. And immediately, in a split second, they've gone from fast asleep to wide awake, haven't you? And be warned. If you're stroking a cat and suddenly the eyes get big, and the ears go back, but they're about to attack. And they attack for no reason at all, don't they, cats? Aren't they funny old things? They really are. We've got a phone call coming in, which is strange, seeing as we haven't opened the lines yet. Finishing 8-0. Good evening. Who's on the line, please?
It's Rory, Chris.
Rory?
From Fulham.
Hello, Rory. How are you, sir? Rory from Fulham. Nice to hear your voice. Rory used to come to karaoke nights, didn't you?
I certainly did. I hope we do that again very soon,
I hope so as well. Probably not in Fulham. Now, I know why you've rung. I mean, I don't know why you've rung. I'm going to guess. Cats.
Go on, then.
Cats.
The cat, yes. I've got a new cat, as you no doubt have thought, yes. Tara died last year. I've got a cat called Rice.
Right.
Named specifically for her colour, but she's much younger than actually. So I've been trying to do. I've been trying to bring up a kitten for the last year and stuff like that.
What do you mean trying to bring one up? What do you mean by that? I mean, they're quite easy to look after, aren't they?
Relatively, yes. They're not, but you just have to train them to be a bit calmer than
I don't think
older
you can
cats, of course.
I don't think you can do that, Rory. You've just got to wait until they come out of kittenhood because they're quite mad. They are absolutely off their heads, kittens, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me, what mad things did Rice do? Is it Reese or Rice?
Rice. As in rice pudding.
Yes, I always do too much of it.
I love it. I'm a rubbish cook, actually.
Oh, I don't believe that for one moment.
Oh,
don't believe that for one moment. Tell me, what is there anything in particular that Rice did? When it was a kitten.
Gnawing my toes and being very, very demanding. She chases a red light around the room and that kind of thing. And she's very playful, very gentle. You'll probably meet her one day. I don't know what she'd sing at karaoke, though, mind you. But there you go.
Does she jump on the bed and bite your toes?
Yes, she does actually, quite considerably. Yes. I just wanted to ask you a question about one of the previous shows.
Yes.
What's your view on because I didn't get a chance to talk about this when it was going out live. What's your view on the Piers Morgan thing? You were talking about that the other day.
Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
I quite like the way he talks. However, I don't like the way he doesn't let anyone else have their say. He just talks.
No.
He shouts and talks across them all the time, and I think that's his worst point. I think everyone should have their point of view,
Yeah.
But the problem is, people seem to be getting sacked because they have their thoughts which don't agree with other. Well, he wasn't sacked. He walked off. Oh, we don't know. They might have said at some point, this has got to stop. Otherwise, we don't know. But I think people should be able to go on the telly and have their point of view. The problem is with all these different points of view at the moment, there is a certain section of society who have their point of view, and if you do not agree with them, then you are evil and a horrible person, and you must die. Do you see what I mean? So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I think if there's someone on the telly, they should be able to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
But I really didn't watch him a lot because I couldn't bear when he just shouted over people all the time, including his co-presenters.
Yeah, I've seen that. I know that Alistair Stewart had to step down because he made an online mistake. I mean, it's so easy to make a mistake these days, as you say, and it can really affect people's careers.
Oh yes, but it's
a real shame.
It's like infighting in groups all the time and all this business going on. You know, there was an event up north somewhere which involved a load of drag queens. I don't know exactly where or much about it anyway. So this was backed by a few business people. One of the people who was involved in it went through someone's tweets who had backed it and found a tweet. I don't know what was wrong with her, but she basically didn't like it. And then she told everyone that they shouldn't get involved with this because this person is very bad and that. It actually folded. The event folded. And all those people weren't able to do that. I mean, how is it possible that one person can do that? No, I don't go along with it. There's a large element of society now who have their way of thinking, and if you don't think like they're called the cancel culture. The cancel culture. I'm sure you've heard that expression before.
Yeah.
And they cancel things. It looks like Sharon Osbourne is on the rocks at the moment because she supported Piers Morgan.
Yeah. I last saw her on The Masked Singer, being a judge. Actually, I haven't seen her for a long time.
All right.
But and Anne Robinson is going to do Countdown, by the way, as well.
She's going to what?
She's doing Countdown when Nick Hewer leaves.
What, as the host?
Yes.
Oh, I think we talked about that a little while ago. Yeah. Now you see Anne Robinson. When you look at that stuff I go on TikTok a lot. And they keep putting up. People put up little clips of Little Britain and things like that. You know, when they had was one of the characters called TikTok.
I think so. Yeah.
I think one of the which was a play on someone from one of the Thailand, I think. Thailand, somewhere like that. And we're watching it. It's quite funny. And then people are putting the video. How did they get away with this? Well, because it was funny. And people had a sense of humour. And you don't have a sense of humour, so you must be a really miserable person. That's my view on it. I'm sorry, that's my view on it. None of this is none of this. You think two people would go on the telly specifically to go out and make people unhappy? No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. But they can't see the humour in it. People can't see the humour. And people are they're not I don't think they're so intelligent anymore. They don't see irony and they don't see satire. Now I'm not sure which one of those things is. You'll see a piece of a joke or a comedy or something like that.
Yeah.
But what is being said is actually not being said, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, one of the best comedy analysis is Hugh Dennis of the Mary Whitehouse Experience. He did a thing on Ronnie Barker recently, a really good analysis, and it's actually very intelligent and political commentary, and it's worth a watch. I have to say I've really enjoyed reliving. Just quickly, really enjoyed reliving your trip to Israel.
Oh yes.
On YouTube, because it was a way of getting away without leaving the house, really.
That must be 6 or 7 years ago. I was in Israel now. Did you only see the one video? I think there's 6 or 7 of them. Yeah,
I'm going to try and find one. There was one where you were at a museum, I remember, and I'm going to try and find that one as well.
Yeah, the museum of the Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem.
Yeah, must have been.
You've got to be very brave to go in there. It's you feel absolutely drained when you come out in there. There's things in there, don't get me wrong, there's not like dead bodies or things like that, but there's like a little section in there where you're walking around and then you see this glass floor. And underneath this glass floor are all these little shoes from children.
Oh, wow.
From children who were murdered by the Nazis.
Oh, God.
And then there's little videos playing all around this place. And the one that really got me was an interview with this lady who says, yes, I remember that day. She says, I was in the house with my mum and dad, and there was a knock at the door. And Mum said, run upstairs, hide in the cupboard behind all the clothes. Do not come out until you can hear nothing. Promise me you'll do that. And so she said, yeah, well, where are you going, Mummy? Don't worry about that. We just want you to know that we love you very, very much, but you must go and do this for us now. So up she went to the cupboard, and she heard, all she heard was a little bit of noise downstairs, and that's it. And she waited and she waited and when she waited, and eventually she came out, and she never saw her mum and dad again. And that really did me in that.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that.
If you get a chance to go there, perhaps in your lifetime, then I think it's somewhere you should go. You need quite a long time to do that, but be prepared. It's not a.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I say it's not a nice experience. It's not, but I think it's something that perhaps everyone should go and see.
Yeah.
To see what those poor people went through. I'm not Jewish at all, but it just. How you could try and wipe out an entire race like that is unbelievable, isn't it? I'm glad you enjoyed the Israel videos. Have you seen the one where I'm standing at the top of the hill and you can see Jerusalem and it's all golden and shimmering?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I do remember that, and I remember your bus ride as well. Actually, where would you go to on a happier note? Where would you go to if lockdown wasn't in place? Where would you go to as a celebratory of new freedom? Where would you like to go abroad next?
Oh, at the moment, well, I'd like to go see my niece again in Cyprus. Yeah, I'd also like to go to Thailand. I've never been to Thailand. I think Bangkok would be too busy for me, but I would spend a couple of days in Bangkok because I think you should, if you see what I mean. To just see what it's like. But I wouldn't want to spend more than a couple of days there and then off to like a seaside-y type place,
Yeah. I love going to Brighton for the seaside. That's my personal staycation.
Oh, right, yeah. Brighton's good. Scotland as well. I'd like to go to the Scottish Highlands, somewhere like that. Welsh Wales to Snowdonia. Was it Snowdonia? Snowdonia? I can't remember. Where do you say that now?
Snowdonia sounds right, I think.
Snowdonia, isn't it? Yeah, the mountains there.
Yeah.
And, Theresa May, she goes walking there, doesn't she?
Does she? I didn't know that.
Apparently she does, Snowdonia.
Yeah. Are you doing any online karaoke? I know you're doing online quizzes, aren't you? But not.
No, we stopped the online. We stopped doing the online quiz back in November. We still do the bingo on Sunday night. Online karaoke is it's very difficult to do. It's really difficult. Yeah, it involves all sorts of technical problems. You can send music out, right?
Yeah, but it's very difficult to sing live.
I could quite easily send you music out and lyrics on a screen. But to actually bring it back with, say, you singing along to my music and words, and then put it out as a show is another thing altogether.
Yeah, although I have to say that thank God we have the Zooms and things these days. If we're going through this now, if it had been 30 years ago, we wouldn't have all this.
No, you wouldn't.
And technology,
Isn't it clever, really? All this stuff is clever. I always say, I mean, when I was a youngster, I had sort of 16, 17, 18, I had a pirate radio station. So that was kind of my child's version of this, really, except I used to play a load of music. Now it's all so much easier. You haven't
Yeah,
got
absolutely.
You haven't got to climb on the roof and put an illegal aerial up, an illegal transmitter, and have a blooming dangerous car battery sitting in the corner of your bedroom sending out signals, only to have the GPO come round, knock on your door, and say you're nicked. That's what happens.
I think the first one was Radio Caroline in the 60s.
Oh, yeah, on a boat. On a
Kenny
boat
Everett
now.
was involved with that, I think.
Yeah, now it's so easy. You just show interest in an internet radio station that's already there, and off you go. It's actually relatively easy to do that. A lot of people they DJ on internet radio stations for a while, and then they get these grand ideas. Oh, well, I think I'd quite like my own radio station. Don't. Because it's all very well doing it on a station, actually having a station yourself, and they get these grandeur ideas. Well, I'm going to make sure I get the best people on there, and it never works out for people, and you end up with like 2 or 3 people listening to your stuff. Well, is there not a lot of point in that, really, is there really? So you want to go for an established radio station and just do it on there. And if you don't like it on there, find another one, but don't go setting up your own radio station. How are you going to feel 24 hours? That's a lot of people to find. And remember, no one gets paid. It's more of a hobby now.
Yeah.
It's a hobby,
yeah. I Zoom into the studio, by Zoom I mean on Zoom, into Radio Chelsea in Westminster at the hospital, because I literally go in on my friend Peter's laptop and see live into the studio that way at the moment.
Oh, right. Do you do a little show on there?
I do. We do the Friday night request show, and when I can go in there, I do one called Music, which is a combination of news and music, as you might think. So yeah. Okay. But I haven't done it for a while yet. I haven't done it for a while at the moment, but I will do again soon. And
do they stream that station on the internet?
Yes.
Chelsea and Westminster Hospital, was it again?
It's actually called Radio Chelsea and Westminster. You can hear it through the Alexa. Right. I think.
Because my mate goes there. He's been in the hospital quite a lot there for various different things.
Yeah. Is that Ron or something?
Yeah, he gets a lot of infections because of the HIV, you see. And so he's in there quite a lot, Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. Well, I say quite a lot. He hasn't been in there for some time, thank God. But it's a lovely hospital. It's all glass, isn't it? But of course, no visitors there at the moment. He's usually sort of somewhere on the top. But he has quite a lot of lung problems and all that. Yeah. Well, nice to talk to you there.
Yeah, have a great show and have a great weekend as well.
All right, Rory. Really lovely to speak to you today, Rory.
And you indeed.
Lots of love to Rice as well. Ta-da.
Take care. Bye.
Bye now. Rory calling in there from Fulham in London. Thanks so much, Rory. Good evening to Amelia Phillips. Evening to you, Amelia. Hello to you, my love. George, you could use the tyres for tomato plants. Again, an excellent idea, tomato plants. Yeah. Yeah, usually a lot of people, they buy those bags, they cut holes in the top. Why not use reusable tyres? What a fantastic idea is what you got with your tyres here. Mick Davenport, George could put some tyres under his bed that keeps breaking. There you go, George. Poor old George. He keeps breaking his bed, don't you, my love? Never mind. At last, we've got some common sense here. Sherry's there. Hello, Sherry. Take that phone off John, will you, my love? For Christ's sake, take that phone away from him. He must be punished, Sherry. Punish him, darling. Sherry is in house. Sherry, that's John's wife there. Just ignore John. Do whatever makes you happy. Thank you. Poor old Maureen, she's been spat out by an alpaca. It's the necks, isn't it? Like that they are. Maureen's been spat out by an is it how you say it? Alpaca? From the Mud Shoot Small Farm. I don't know where that is. I fed him some carrots, and the next minute he threw up all his carrots over my face and glasses. Oh, Maureen! Oh, don't laugh. It's not funny. Well, if I ever go and see those, I'll make sure I take an umbrella with me. Oh, poor Maureen. Sorry to hear that, Maureen. Good evening to Paul in Cornwall. Sparky is in the house. Good evening, Sparky. And Vera says, if you ever get the chance to go to Scotland, go to the Isle of Mull. It's so nice there. I've been 3 times. Vera, I've been to the Isle of Mull. and I have no problem agreeing with every word you said there. I was in the Scouts. I think I was about 17 or 18, so we'd be talking here 1980, round about 1980. So we were, what was going on here? We were camping in the Highlands of Scotland, and as one of our trips, we were to go over to the Isle of Mull on a 3-day hiking camping thing, and we did. So we got the ferry from Oban across to the Isle of Mull. And on the other side, the first thing you come to, if I remember rightly, is a little row of shops. Am I right? Little row of shops. And off we went. Walking along this road, and then we went up this big hill. I wouldn't say it was a mountain. We got up it okay. But it started getting late. Right, I can't believe that you've been to the Isle of Mull. It started getting quite late, and it was starting to get dark. And we were lost. We were lost, and it got quite dark. And then we saw a light. So literally, we just headed towards the light. Just give me the light. Just give me the light. Sean Paul, I love it. Dun, 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 dun. Just give me the light. That one, yeah. So we headed down towards this light. And by the time we got there, it was pitch black. And we saw a river. So we literally walked down to the river. There was no one around. We eventually realised there was actually a few lights. So we realised we was houses around us. So we set up our tents next to the river and went to sleep. I don't remember an awful lot about this other than being lost on this mountain. I was really scared. And I'm very good at getting lost. Oh, yes. I have no sense of direction. Not like my dad. You know, he had a really good sense of direction. Any journey in the car, he'd automatically have several routes planned out in his head if we hit traffic or anything like that. It's fantastic. Not me. Can't do it. But we got down to this place and we set up the tents and went to sleep, I think. How many of us was there? 1, 2... There was either 4 or 6 of us, I think. That's all. And we have everything with us, you know. Little Primus stoves in our rucksacks and sleeping bags and food and stuff like that. We've got it all there. Okay. So in the morning, we kind of woke up. And we come out the tent. And we set up these tents next to a river. And just a little bit up from the river was a bridge, a road bridge that went across there. Right. Standing on this bridge with several people just looking at us. Oh God, where have we set up our tents? Yeah, it's a beautiful. You're absolutely right. I must go back there. And it was no problem. No one came over to us and started shouting and screaming. We were scouts, so we were taught to clean up everything. When we went camping. When we left a campsite, whether it was a proper campsite or somewhere next to a path, where we used to camp everywhere, you know, we would collect our stuff and the rubbish, take everything with us, and we would leave it as if we'd never been there. That we were taught to do that. Not like these tramps now that go out for a picnic and on the beach. Disgusting creatures. And there's so many of them. Leaving their bleeding rubbish all over the place. It breaks my heart to see the countryside trashed as it is. It's like where my caravan is, along the river with them. I go along there and pick up the rubbish. I can't bear it. I mean, that also gives me something to do. And it's good for the old exercise, doing all this litter collecting, you see. I can't bear it. Well, you see, I mean, Jeff would tell you that we go along by the river and then sharp right, down a little hill, through a little council estate on the left, okay? And then through this little villagey place, Chapel Hill, and then to our caravan. And it's beautiful, except the rubbish, cans and bottles. And I managed to clear the entire route from the caravan right up to Tattershall, but it took me a while. And then once you've cleared it, it's actually relatively easy to keep on top of it. You've only got to walk the route once a week, maybe twice a week. and pick up the odd can once you've done it. You see, I haven't been up there for 6 months now. I've practically begged my sister and my nephews, so you couldn't pop along the river and see if there's any rubbish there for me while you're up there. They won't do it. They've got other things to do anyway. You know, I hate it. Never saw that on the Isle of Mull. We didn't used to see it in the 70s and 80s. Didn't see rubbish on the ground, not like it is now. But yes, this little island, Isle of Mull, and it had one main road going around it, didn't it, Vera? And it had a bus, but there was no, like, timetable. I don't think there was a timetable at the time, and there were no bus stops. You literally, the bus would come along around this circuit, and if you wanted it, you just put your hand out, and it would stop wherever you are and let you off wherever you want to get off. It's fantastic. And you know, I tell you what, Vera, I looked at houses on the Isle of Mull. Let's have a look for one, shall we? You see, the problem is if you get into medical difficulty, no one there. Although that being said, with less people there, you get less infections. I mean, this last year, the lockdown, I've had no chest, no cold really, nothing really. Just this thing in my throat that comes up and goes down. It was bad this afternoon. It went right across, this problem today. Right across there. At this moment in time, it's not bad at all. It goes and comes. It keeps coming and going. I'm hoping to wake up one day and it's just gone. That often happens with things. Fingers crossed. Let's just have a little quiet look. Let's see what we can find. Often these little Scottish places, you know, if you've got someone to live with, it's very, very different. Well, 800,000, blimey, that's dear. I didn't think they would be that dear. Hang on, let's put in a limit, shall we? Let's go lowest price and see what happens. Well, they've got a lot of land for sale there. Hang on a minute. Let's lowest price. Can I find a little house there? Oh, here we go. Where's Salem? Is that Isle of Mull, Salem? Tobermory. Now, correct? Isn't Tobermory the sort of main town? Hang on, let's see. I think Tobermory is the main town. Here we go. Oh, not as cheap as I thought. 220 grand. 220 grand. That's not as cheap as I thought it would be, to be honest, on the island. But let's show you. Oh, this looks quite pleasant, doesn't it? No. I believe Tobermory is like the main town on the Isle of Mull. It's a long time now. But here, that's 220,000 for that. That's all right, isn't it? And you'll have beautiful views, not many people around. I mean, it's lovely. It'd be a lovely thing, really, when you think about it, doing something like that. Really nice. But like I say, you know, not really a main... I'm sure there's a doctor on there, but not a main hospital. But with less people around, you're less likely to pick up nasty diseases and things like that, aren't you? I suppose. Let's do your day trip to London. Get on that tube. Achoo! People sneezing all over you. Dirty people. Dirty people. Thank you, Vera. Good evening to Pete Remington. Good evening, Pete. George also says you could use the tyres for an ashtray for Gary the cat. Well, he doesn't smoke. Why would a cat smoke? An ashtray for Gary the cat? I don't know any cats that smoke, George. Clarissa. It was Ting Tong in Little Britain. I thought it was, yeah. You see, and like I was saying earlier on, none of these programmes ever wanted to upset anyone. People have decided to become upset by comedy. It's very sad, really, how the world's going. Now, here's a question for you. How can we make train journeys more entertaining? Any suggestions? Because one of my Facebook friends, Dave Ravel is his name. He's a lovely bloke, except he's a liberal. Yeah. He's a lovely bloke. He's actually quite involved with the Liberal Party. I mean, I see them doing their thing. You might be a Liberal. So I kind of look at them and I think, well, why are you even bothering, my loves? You know, it's never going to happen, is it? But there we go. He's a really nice bloke. And he put a post up today about he'd been on the new Elizabeth line. Apparently there's new trains. Perhaps Daniel Woodhouse will know about this. There's new trains on the Elizabeth line. And he was saying that the trains are a bit bland. Now, I'm not quite sure what he means by that. Trains are trains, aren't they? They are bland, aren't they, trains? Sort of boring places to be on, aren't they? Do you find trains a bit boring? So how can we tart them up a bit? What can we do on trains to perhaps make the journey a little bit more interesting? Call in if you want to. The phone line's open. 020 8144 3477 is my phone number. 020 8144 3477. Or you can text in 07451 287 337. Whatever you want to do, okay? Phone 020 8144 3477 or text 07451 287 337 there. What do you think? Can we do anything to make train journeys more interesting? I mean, maybe you could have a DJ on there. A little bit of cabaret going on. You could have a singer. You know, all these people that can't get work at the moment, you know, at the front of the train there, you could have perhaps a slight, you wouldn't be able to have a very high stage, would you? Just sort of, you know, perhaps a few inches off the ground like that. I could set up a karaoke. Oh, fantastic. Karaoke on the train. Yeah. Yeah, Maureen, you could come on and sing your song then. We got a ticket to ride. We got a ticket to ride. Don't need a ticket to ride me, my love. Yeah, karaoke on the train. Perhaps a few sparkly lights. How about a barbecue on a train? On the new Elizabeth line. That's how are we going to tart up the train a bit. It is a bit bland. Perhaps a little bit more colourful. A little bit more colourful. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? Let's go to Romford. Daniel's on the line. Good evening, Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Speaker's muted. Oh, no.
Are your speakers muted? Put them on, dear.
Get it off, get it off.
Hello?
Oh, it's not going to be off, is it? Oh, get off, you bastard. Come.
Pardon? Did you swear then? Hello? Hello? We can't hear you, Daniel. Oh, dear. Why don't he just use the bloody phone like everyone else, for God's sake, dear? Can't they try and use Skype, you see? That's the thing. I hope I didn't hear that very, very rude word. I hope I didn't hear that then for a moment or two. Yeah, I mean, we could have, I don't know, little sparkly lights going all the way down the carriage. You know, like a rope light, what they used to have at mobile discos. Here. Something like that. You'd get some old bag moan, wouldn't you? Oh, we don't like the loud music. Well, get off the train then, you miserable old cow. No, you'd have to have a quiet section, wouldn't you? For the boring people with no personalities. Aye. How about an offensive section where you could have comedians that just go on there and offend everyone? That'd be quite good, wouldn't it? I think I'd be on that one there, yeah, just watching the entertainment. What entertainment would you like on a train? Come on, give me some ideas. DJ? Little sparkly lights. And as I say, paint it in bright colours. It's all a bit bland, really. Nice bright yellow and pink and green. Wonderful, dear. That's the sort of green I want to see, that sort of green. That's the same colour I've got in my living room, you know. It is. George is on the line. Good evening, George.
Good evening, Chris.
Hello, George. How are you tonight?
Fine.
Now, what have you got for me tonight, my darling? Have you finished your KFC bucket?
Yes.
What did you have?
Chicken.
Right.
Chicken, chips, and chicken.
How many bits of chicken were there in that bucket?
I had 4.
4 bits? Oh, George, I told you, you won't lose weight if you start eating that crap. Who bought that, you or your nan?
Nan.
Did she have any of it?
Yeah.
Does she like a KFC, does she?
Yeah, so does my pack.
Oh, perhaps I could come round to your house. Maybe I could take your nan out for a KFC. Do you think she'd like that?
Perhaps not, no.
No? Why is that, George?
No. I don't know.
I think you should ask her. Do you want to put her on the phone now? Perhaps I could ask her if she'd like to come out one day for a KFC with me.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Quick question.
Yes.
My pat's been in hospital.
Who's in hospital?
My pat's been in hospital.
What is Pap? Is that your grandfather?
Granddad.
Granddad, okay, right, yeah.
What happened was, not yesterday, day before, he couldn't get any breath.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, so we got the fan, because we've got a fan downstairs, turned on, he was fine, went outside. Next day, same problem. So, so my man said, what tablets are you taking? Water tablets. Of course, the whole body was full of water, even his lungs and his heart.
Oh.
So struggling to eat, struggling to breathe. So he Nan called the doctors. Well, his doctors is like trying to get hold of Elvis.
Trying to get hold of Elvis? Is it difficult getting
Yeah.
hold of your doctor, is it?
Yeah. Sometimes you call them and you're Q26.
Right.
So they think, I'm not waiting that long.
Yeah.
They put the phone down, wait for another 5 minutes, and the queue just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they've only got one receptionist on there.
Right.
So eventually got through to your doctors. They said, call the heart centre. So they called the heart centre. They said, call 111. So they called 111, and they said, call 999. So they got an ambulance out.
Yes, I was going to say, with something like breathing difficulties, I would have tended to rung 999 first of all, to be honest.
Well, and they said, you're fine. I can't see why you can't go in hospital. You're fine and stuff like that. So your heart's brilliant and stuff like that. Then a bit later, it got worse. So they called 999, and the second one took him in the ambulance.
Right.
And took him to the hospital, and he got back the next day. This was yesterday. He got back today, and they injected this sort of medicine in him, and it was like a water fountain. It just keep because he used it. My pap's got a catheter,
Right.
with a bag.
Okay.
Yeah, and the bag was just filling up all the time.
So,
And it was-
you say he's on water tablets. Aren't the
Yeah.
water tablets supposed to help to get rid of the water?
Yeah, but it was the one water tablets for him.
Eh?
It was the one water tablet
I
for
understand.
him.
Okay, so they weren't working.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
of course, it was just... Because he has to drink fluid
Right.
to keep his kidneys going.
I see,
Of
yes.
course, if
Yes.
the tablets are not working, he's just going to fill it with fluid, ain't he?
But you say he's much better now.
Yes.
Good, I'm pleased to hear that. Pleased to hear that for you. Are you very close to your granddad?
Depends what mood he's in.
Or what mood you're in, more like. Tell me, does your nan have moods at all?
Yes.
Funny that, isn't it? I can't understand why she don't want to talk to me, to be honest, George. It don't make sense, really.
No, I don't.
No, never mind. Oh, well. Well, thanks for calling tonight, George.
Yeah.
It's always nice to talk to you, all right? You have a nice evening.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, there's our lovely George. Well, I hope his granddad gets better. It's horrible, isn't it? Having someone in your family ill. It's just horrible. Thank you, George. And best of luck to your granddad there. Now, where's my... I'm just writing something down here. Sorry, I write down bits and pieces because often after the show... I adjust the menu, the stuff what's in the show. As you well know, I have a menu of things that's going to happen, and it never quite works out, and things change. So I changed the menu for those people that watch the recorded show afterwards. So who we had on the phone? Rory and was it just Rory and George so far? And I think Daniel Woodhouse, he'll probably try again in a moment or two. Yeah, and we're talking about trains, aren't we? We're talking about trains, and what would you suggest that we can do to jazz up a train journey a bit and perhaps make it more interesting? Now, it says here I've got five text messages, but oddly enough, I can't see them. Now it says 7. Oh, I see what's happened. It didn't refresh. Oh, there we go. There's Daniel there. Hello, Daniel.
Can you hear me now, Chris?
We can hear you now. Yes, perfectly
Oh,
well.
thank
Yes.
you.
How are you tonight? All right?
Well, I'm fine now. I've had my fish and chips.
Yes. Which particular type of fish did you have there?
Tonight it was sea bass.
Sea bass. Okay.
Yeah, my mum had already got that.
Has that got many bones in it?
No, I didn't notice any bones at all.
Okay. How does one cook that?
The dip it in flour method,
Right. Okay.
which is it's not quite the same as batter, but it's still nice.
Yeah. I think you eat quite well good foods, don't you?
Oh yes, I mean I've
When he's round his mother.
yeah. Well, as my mum said, when I'm round here, I do. I'm not. I mean, you're talking to the man who's actually got an MVQ level 2 in catering or how to cook.
Right.
But
so,
I just don't have the motivation to cook for myself on my own. When if there's people around me, I love doing it, but not.
Yeah, I enjoy. I think I take great pleasure out of doing my own food. Really, I now and again I have a takeout. Let me tell you, it doesn't happen very often. Certainly no more than once a week. I haven't had McDonald's. Usually I might have a McDonald's or something on a Thursday night. I didn't do it this time. What did I have last night after the show? I had jacket potato with bacon. No, last night. What was last night? Thursday. Thursday?
My mum laughs every time we say beans.
Beans? Why?
you seem to eat them so much, and you know what we call a Heinzer.
Every day. No, I don't buy Heinz. Good God, 50 pence a can? You're having a laugh, and you're Audi, dear. Audi.
No,
£3.50 for an entire
that's the
tray
word.
of the
Somebody
damn
think this
things.
word Heinzer, someone who eats a lot of beans.
So cheap, dear, so cheap. So, and tonight, I've got them again tonight with a couple of sausage rolls, and I will be turning on my Wi-Fi oven very soon. I'm very excited to see if that works or not.
Oh, yes, I can imagine that. I mean, you said that, whoever it was saying about Wi-Fi ovens don't work or whatever. I mean, I have the same trouble with the printer, you see. I have to set it on USB.
Right,
Or you can have it set for Wi-Fi.
right.
But what happens is, if you get a bit of a cutout in the Wi-Fi cuts out a bit,
Yes.
what happens is the printer stops. And then when that Wi-Fi comes on, it starts again, but it starts printing from the first sheet you started from.
yeah,
So you
well,
might have to print on 7 printouts. Then you've got to have them 7 come out again.
Well, there's something wrong there. Is your printer very far away from the router?
No, it's in the same room.
It's all Wi-Fi. No, there's something wrong there. That shouldn't happen. Why would the Wi-Fi just cut out? That's wrong. There's something wrong.
Yeah. What was your other?
Can you connect the printer with a cable USB?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I
that.
do it. Yeah.
Do that and try it out. Otherwise you're just wasting ink and paper. If you can't get it to work Wi-Fi, just plug it in. I mean, I think mine's plugged in here. It's all Wi-Fi. Everything's got Wi-Fi on it, but it doesn't always work that well. I believe in connecting everything with a cable as far as you possibly can. Even up at Lincolnshire, if I could have a internet fibre cable to the caravan, I would have. It's just not available there. Even the BT lines, they don't get as far as the caravan site, the fibre lines. And on inquiring to BT, they can't even guarantee me 1 meg there. That's how bad it is, which is the reason I've got 4G broadband, which works very well there.
Yeah.
Depends where you are in the country, really. Go on, Daniel, what you got for me? Is it trains?
Well, I heard when I tried the first time round, I was sitting here just in that slight state of delirium, and Then all of a sudden I heard my name mentioned, and suddenly my ears pricked,
Oh, did they? Yes.
and I'm being like, and he's going about, oh, how can we make train travel more interesting?
Yes.
Well, I
And
don't think you can. I mean, the
you're a
only
big
thing
fan.
I can suggest really is it's a matter of personal preferences, really.
Well, what would you do? So I'm going to
Well,
give
all
you.
I do
I'm going to
is,
give you. I'm going to give you £200,000 now. There you go, £200,000.
Right.
I want you to make train journeys much more interesting. What you going to do?
Well, like I'm saying, it can only be for an individual thing. You couldn't really do anything as an all-in-one, something that one thing. It's like when I'm on the train, I'll put the music on or some mobile video. It's entertainment for me, you see.
Right.
It's about entertaining yourself on the train. I don't think it would really work with like having a DJ there. I mean, I know I've heard things like some people tried actually having dinner parties on the underground. This is true, yes, it has happened.
Has that happened? Has it?
Yes,
Oh,
and
right.
London Underground have sneered at it because they don't like the idea that anyone doing stunts on the trains, as they
Why?
call it.
You go on some of those really expensive things, like you can book on. I think they're called Pullmans, are they? Pullman. They really like done out, nice posh trains. And
Yeah,
you
the
go
Orient
on-
Express, I mean.
Yeah, you can go on there for Orient Express. You can go on there for a day or just one meal, I think, or like an afternoon tea. I mean, me and my mate, we haven't done an afternoon tea on a train. We'd like to do that. Actually, I must look that up. Afternoon tea, or perhaps on the Orient Express. I don't know. Tea on train. Yeah, that'd be quite a nice thing to do. Yeah,
Yes, I went on the Orient Express once.
You've been on it, have you really?
Yeah,
Where was
I
that?
got on it. It was filthy. People shouting and spitting at me. Turned out it was the Leighton Orient Express.
Oh no, dear, you got the wrong one, my love. Well, I'm very disappointed with your suggestions on trains. If there was anyone that was going to come and do good suggestions on trains, it was going to be you.
Well, if there's anything, I suppose for every that would satisfy everybody. I mean, round here, even I get on when I have to go on the train from Mum's at Elm Park, and I come in and on these new S stock trains, as they're called. They are a bit bland inside. You're quite right. The seats are like black or dark grey, but they've got the little line colours
Yeah.
in District Circle, Metro Hammersmith and City Line. And like grey or white panelling round. I think they need to do them up in a sort of pink or a shade of blue or something.
Yeah. Yeah, brighten
And,
up the colours a little bit.
Yeah, and instead of those dot matrix, I mean dot matrix now it seems to be so last
Yeah, it's
century.
old-fashioned, isn't it? You mean the symbols, the signage that tells you where the stations are going to stop and all
Yeah,
that?
when it's the next station is Dagenham East and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They need to have, we're in the days of plasmas and flat screens now. They need some of them with a nice person on there who's been videoed, probably me, I suppose, actually saying, and the next station is Dagenham East. Or even better, and the next station is Mile End. Change here for the Central Line. This is a District Line train to Parsons Green.
You want to be a train announcer?
Well, I could do that very well, I
I
suppose.
always remember the train announcements on a train when I used to live in Battersea for the short period of time I was married. And I used to have to get a train from there to... no, hang on, that's wrong. That's wrong. I'm sorry. When I go to London, yes, if I go to London on a train and it's not Hampstead, it's like Waterloo, because we're the line here to Waterloo, yeah. And I used to get to the one before Battersea Park. I think it was Clapham Junction. Clapham Junction. That was it. Clapham Junction. And the announcement would come on. The train standing at platform 13 is for Battersea Park and Victoria. Battersea Park and Victoria. Battersea Park and Victoria, the train at platform 13. I always used to remember that particular announcement for some reason. Battersea Park and Victoria, this particular train. No, but it can't have been from here because we're Waterloo here. Yeah, we're Waterloo here. Yeah.
Yes, and what is now called South Western Railway.
Oh, is that what it is now?
Yeah, I remember when they
Yeah, that's
first
right. Yeah,
came
yeah,
out. That well, and even now, their logo is two railway lines coming together, forming an arrow,
Oh,
and that arrow or you think it's not actually an arrow really, but it looks like an arrow, and it's pointing northeast.
yeah. I can't say I'd noticed. Have you ever been on one of those sleeper ones? Don't they have a new sleeper train that goes up to Scotland now? I think they do, don't they?
I've been on a sleeper train to Scotland, to
Is that
Glasgow.
nice? Does it sort of rock you to sleep?
Oh yes, you just drift off there in your own little cabin,
Yeah,
and then someone wakes you up in the morning with a bread roll and some orange juice.
Oh, do they really? Oh, that sounds quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I will go to Scotland at some point. I think the thing is, as I've got the caravan in Lincolnshire, I can hop it, can't I? I can go to the caravan, without having to do the whole journey in one day. I don't know how long it would take to go to sort of Oban from Oban, which is where I'd have to get a ferry across to the island. So Oban, Lincolnshire to Oban. I'll have to look that up and see how long it would take. You don't want to do it all in one day. That's a long journey, in a car. But I quite like the sleeper service. The thing is, I'm not in London, you see. So to get to the sleeper train, I'd have to go from Bracknell to London and then from there up there. And then when you get up to Scotland, you'd have to hire a car. Well, why do you want to do that, if you can use your own car? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you go to Euston for it.
Is it Euston?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Euston, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Chris, by the way, I've got to say, I don't like to have to say this.
Oh, well, don't then. Bye.
No, I've got to really.
Oh.
Please, you're going to have to take me off the bingo system, please.
Oh, okay, that's all right, yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's only because what's happened is I've sort of become the darling of the bridge table.
The what?
The bridge table, the online bridge table.
Oh, you're playing bridge now as well, are you?
Which I've been on Saturdays and Sundays really well for ages, really. I mean, we was doing it at the cafe on a Saturday night and the Paddington Bridge Club on a Sunday night.
Okay.
And then lockdown come in. And what happened was last Saturday, this new woman joined us, and she was a bit hyper.
Oh, was she? Did you have to slap her down a bit, did you, my love?
And had to be told to shut up by the other person who was my partner, actually.
Yeah.
Who, just because she was being distracted. And she got so, and I don't know if that was to put her, but they were winning. You see, that they were winning right up to the last deal.
Yeah.
And then me and my partner, we bid between us. We were going between negotiating whether we wanted either one spades or one hearts.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she's coming with her turn to bid, and she's gone straight to 3-no trump.
Outrageous. Isn't that outrageous? Absolutely outrageous.
Yeah. And you know what? We let her play it, and she lost.
Oh, well. Unlucky.
So we ended up copping the 300 penalty points.
I've never played bridge, so I don't know anything about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you want to know the secrets, there's a video on YouTube. It's called "Join Us for Bridge" with Shaw Taylor.
I'll be honest, I'm not. Oh, from Junior Police 5. Keep them peeled. Keep them peeled. Keep them peeled. He used to go. My Auntie Brenda, she belonged to a few bridge things. Yeah, she used to go. She used to spend hours in the afternoon going to these little bridge clubs that she was a member of. Not clubs, round people's houses, and I think they hired a hall as well at some point as well, and did something like that.
Yeah, because actually last Saturday it ended up with a point halfway through the game where I decided to do something called an informative double, and then there's all these people in their 50s and 60s. They're going to me, what's an informative double?
Yeah, what is that? I don't know what it is.
Well, it's where your right-hand opponent might be the first person to bid, and say they bid one clubs.
Yeah.
You look at your hand, and you find you've either got no clubs, or you might just have one or two, and then so immediately you think, right, I'm going to say double.
Yeah.
And what that does is, if you double at that point, that's a message to your partner,
right,
saying, I'm short of the suit that the opponents have just opened in.
Oh, it all sounds very complicated to me. You're starting to lose me now, Daniel, I'm afraid.
Well, I just watched that video. It's quick.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just sit to snakes and ladders. It's just much easier. There's just too many rules, dear. I mean, someone said I should play Trivial Pursuit. All those questions. I mean, it's almost as boring as doing one of my quiz nights. No wonder there wasn't anyone watching.
The trouble with Triv is that it's not the game. It's a lot of it is how the questions are worded. I mean, when I've had to read them, I'll get them and I have to look at them first. I think, no. Oh, you can't say it like that. That was not. The best questions were on 15-1 with William Stewart.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
They were worded.
Didn't he work for BT at some point? Wasn't he a telephone engineer, William Stewart? I think he was. I'm sure he was.
TV producer. He was the man behind The Price is Right, actually.
No, I'm sure he was something to do with British Telecom, or someone in British Telecom wrote it. I can't remember how that worked now.
Oh, it might. It wasn't the bloke, John Lewis. He invented 15-1.
Well, he's got a lovely shop, John Lewis. Oh, I love going into his shop.
It's true. It was his name, John Lewis.
Well, thank you very much for your informative call today, Daniel. Very good call today. I'm going to give you 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, that's nice.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Enjoy your night. Bye-bye.
And you. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Daniel in Romford. Always a good call from young Daniel, isn't it? Let's read some of your messages. George, I see what you're saying now. So you must check your spelling before you send your messages, George, because I can't work it out sometimes. George, we're still on the subject of car tyres, suggests making a litter tray for Gary the cat out of an old tyre. He don't need one, mate. He just got, I don't know where he goes. Don't go in my garden, I'm pleased to say. There's no cat poo in my garden at all, I'm very pleased to tell you, George. All right, there. I can see all these texts now. So, Clarissa says, my friend Josh just said, get some pole dancers. The poles are already there. Thank you, Clarissa. Hello to Ronan. Hello, Ronan. Nice to see you. Ronan's here. I will be moving to your neck of the woods at the end of April. Moving to Bracknell so I can get to work more easy. I hope to have a tour. Be very pleased to meet up with you, Ronan. I'll get you a cup of tea. You can have a nice cup of tea. Would you like a cup of tea? Do you want to see this? Is that what you want to see this? You're welcome to come and have a look at all this if you want. It's only tiny in here. It's very, very small. You'll get to meet Gary the cat, Ronan. You like that? Gary the cat. Have you got a place yet as a matter of interest? What part of Bracknell are you moving to? Or have you looked at so far? I'm in Hanworth. Hanworth. If you like the outdoors, it's a fabulous place here, Bracknell. We're in the forest and that. Oh, the forest is enormous, the forest. It's absolutely enormous. Goes for miles and miles. Oh, I hope you like it here, Ronan. Did you work for British Airways at one point? I can't remember now. Was that you or someone else, Ronan? Well, anyway, nice to see you, Ronan. Adrian says, get Sandra on the train. She's sure to entertain everyone if they're male. Oh, it's 20 to 10. Hang on, I've got to turn my Wi-Fi oven on now. Let's see if this works. Right, hang on. So we've got convector and fan. Let's see what happens. Oh, what's that say? Alert. Don't forget to set the temperature on your oven manually. I've already done that. Okay, press proceed. It's on. My oven's come. I want to go downstairs and have a look. No, I'll wait. So it says time left 30 minutes. Can you see that? Time left. I just turned my oven on. Can you do that? No. Even my mate can't do that. That'll upset him. Because he's got a Wi-Fi dishwasher. Now that one I don't get. Why would you want to turn the dishwasher on if you're not in? That don't make sense to me, that one. An oven, I get it. Like I say, when I go out on my litter picks, I don't know what time I'm coming back. I often go out, I just do an hour today. 3 hours later, I'm trundling back. My feet are killing me, like this. Yeah. Good evening to the lovely Shania still. Good evening, Shania. Hope you're all right and your family there. Vera says, don't go to the Isle of Mull in the winter. There are only 2 ferries a day. It took me the whole day to get there when I went. It might have changed now. Oh, I hope so. Balamory was filmed there. Was it really? Okay. Balamory was. You remember Balamory? That was a good programme. The Isle of Mull, beautiful place. I'm going to have a look at houses again on there when I finish the show tonight. Good. Sorry, though, a little bit late coming up with your text messages there. Anyway, excuse me, I've got hiccups. Excuse me a minute. Anyone else want to call in before we close the phone line? 020 8144 3477. 020 8144 3477. And we'll close that phone line soon because I've got sausage rolls in the oven now, which I've just turned on. My wife, have I mentioned my Wi-Fi oven? There's a video up if you want to see me installing it. Actually, my nephew told me there's actually another video there you could do on the installation and the operation of the app itself, which is not a bad idea, actually. Whether I do that or not, I kind of moved on from that now, you know, that oven thing. But there is a video up there of me putting it all together, which was easy until it came to trying to get the Wi-Fi to work. And basically it was, I hadn't set the clock. You can't do anything on the oven until you've set the clock. Well, and this wasn't made clear in the instruction manual, so I'm a bit bad with that one there, okay. You can still text 07451 287 337 is my text number. Now, what else have we got here today? Would you eat out-of-date food? How far out-of-date would you eat it? I'm not led by the out-of-date label. I'm not led by the used by, best before, or out of date. I'm led by this gigantic thing on the side, on the front of my face called a nose. I will smell the food. I've had stuff that's a few days past its used by date, and I open the item and I give it a good sniff like that. And if it smells all right and looks all right, it's going in the oven. Now, I don't think I'd eat something like that you wouldn't cook if it was way past its use by date. But my kind of opinion of that is, well, if you cook it and you cook, I'd overdo it probably if it has gone past its use by date, just to make sure that everything's dead inside it. That being said, to be honest, with vegetables, you don't really have the problem that you have with out-of-date meat, you know. One of the worst things you can do is refreeze something meat, like once it's thawed out. I think it's meat, isn't it? Meat and fish. Fish particularly, but chicken. Even rice. I think rice, once you've cooked it, I don't think you're supposed to reheat rice. There's something in that can be nasty to you. But generally, if it smells all right, once I've opened it, I'll cook it and eat it. Well, in the Sun, this woman kept a McDonald's burger and fries for 17 years to see how it would look. She's in the States. Her mum showed off the mouldy cheeseburger and fries she bought in 2004. I mean, why would you want to do that? What a strange thing to do. And why 17 years? I can feel his sneeze. Oh dear. Excuse me. A clip shows, her name's Savannah, a clip shows Savannah's mum holding up a McDonald's bag and telling her family she bought it the meal in April 2004. As she pulls it open, the children gasp and scream, "Oh, that smells bad." The mum then shows the kids the chips, which have hardened but are not mouldy. Incredibly, the cheeseburger contains no mould, and the patty thing inside doesn't look too bad either. However, the slice of cheese has turned a strange yellow colour, and the children claimed it looked like peanut butter. So, would you eat something like... I mean, you wouldn't eat that, would you? I mean, I wouldn't eat that. But how far do that use by date do you go? Do you rely on that date, or do you rely on your common sense? There's just so many people out there with blooming no sense whatsoever. They don't have common sense, do they? They have to be told to do everything. It's certainly when the pandemic thing, you know, I've told you many times. I was listening to LBC. Someone rung up. We're into the pandemic, and they were talking about buses. Oh, hello. I just wanted to ask your expert. I've got a heart condition and a lung problem, serious lung problem. Would it be okay for me to get on a bus? I mean, how thick can you be? Would you? No. No, it's not. Not with a mask on or anything. Avoid the bus. Don't go on there. All those disgusting people sneezing, sneezing all over. No. And it's the same with this stuff. Just use your common sense. It says, in the right environment, this is from McDonald's, our burgers, like most other foods, could decompose. But in order to decompose, you need certain conditions, specifically moisture. Without sufficient moisture, either in the food itself or the environment, bacteria and mould may not grow. And therefore, decomposition is unlikely. So if food is or becomes dry enough, it's unlikely to grow mould or bacteria or decompose. Yeah. So if you don't want to decompose, right, when you're dead, arrange someone to dry you out. You won't decompose. You'll be there for years. Yeah, George? Is there anyone in your family that looks a little bit decomposed at the moment? They're obviously living in an environment that's got too much moisture. Terrible watching people decomposed in front of your eyes, isn't it, eh? Look closely at the burgers, it says. You're seeing they are likely dried out and dehydrated, and by no means the same as the day they were purchased. It's a bit much, and it's 17 years. It doesn't say whether she had a little bite of the burger or not. Vera's quite right. I would use my nose and eyes before I would eat it. And she says some people keep wedding cakes for years. Yes, they do. I think it was a tradition. If you got married and you had like layers, tiers. So you got a tier there, then them little post things, and another tier, a little post things, and a tier on the top. And I think you have the bottom bit, and don't you save the other two for when you have children or something like that? Oh. Cake. I'm not a fan of fruit cake with icing. No, I like a sponge cake. You want a decent birthday cake? Petite Valerie. Order them online. You saw that one I had for my birthday, didn't you? Now I've got permission here. I've got permission. The gay lads are going to love this one, and the ladies. I've got permission here to show you the photo as sent in, not by Mark Bowles, but by his girlfriend. Like she's trying to palm him off onto me. He's not here tonight, is he, Mark? He's not sent a text anyway. I don't think he's here tonight. But I've now got permission to show you that very sexy photo. The question is, do you want to see it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you don't want to see it. I'm not sure that you want to see this beautiful picture of Mark Bowles. I'll leave that in your mind for a moment. Just let me know if you want to see it. You know, if no one asks, I won't bother putting it up. You know, I just keep the picture to myself. I wish I had a colour printer. Would print it out and just put it on the wall next to my bed so I could fall asleep. You know, looking at it though. And then I wake up and there Mark is still laying there next to me in the bed. How lovely. Adorn it, was not actually taking much notice. I'll show you the picture if you want to see it. If not, that's okay. If no one asks for it, I won't show it. But yeah, cakes. Oh, I do love a wedding cake. So I'll do another story while you're thinking about that. And I've just got a message on here. Oven temperature reached. Look at that. Oven temperature reached. See that? Just come up on my phone there. Fantastic, isn't it, eh? I love it. Love it. Let's find this now. We're not going to do half of these stories again, are we? That I arranged to do. Where is this story now? Where's this? I want to get because I've got a picture to show you as well. 1 minute. Here we go. Transport taxis. Okay. Tourists could soon be whisked away by a flying taxi to enjoy a luxury dining experience on 100-foot eco towers overlooking the wilderness of Italy in a stunning new concept. Now, it's beautiful, Italy. I've been to Rome, the Vatican, amazing. Amazing. Sardinia. It's lovely, Italy. Anyway, this is a result of a collaboration between the unmanned aircraft company EHang Holdings. I think they might be Chinese. Am I right there? Yeah, they're Chinese. EHang Holdings and architects at the Rome-based Giancarlo Zema Design Group. Each of the towers dubbed vertiports, as they allow the driverless aircraft. So you're in there. There's no one there, though. No one else on that plane flying it. You all right with that? Could you go on a little driverless plane? Or, shall we say, flying craft? They're not quite planes, as you'll see in a moment. Each of the dubs towered vertiports will allow the driverless aircraft to land vertically on their roofs. It will be eco-friendly and powered by green energy. So I would assume that these little vehicles are electric. It says, after consuming a sumptuous meal and taking in the panoramic views, the flying cars will take visitors on a scenic flight back to their hotels. Check this out. Wow. How fantastic does that look? Eh? You can see 3 of those hotels there, kind of. Are they hotels or just restaurants? I don't know. And a little, I don't know, you can just get one person in there. But they look just like drones, don't they? And actually, when drones first came out, I thought to myself that there must be a way of making a larger drone to take people. And that's exactly what they look like. And I assume that they've got batteries in and you just charge them up. Like to go on one of those? Imagine having dinner up there and looking across that countryside. It says the roof terrace on top of each vertiport will be fitted with non-slip solar panels capable of generating more than 300 kilowatts of power every day. It's all green. Great. They will also supply the energy needed to charge the autonomous flying taxis, which the designers refer to as EH216 passenger autonomous aerial vehicles. Would you like to go on one of those? Each of the craft is built like an oversized commercial drone with 8 dual rotors surrounding the central passenger cockpit. They don't need passengers to pilot and navigate them. Instead, they use point-to-point direct flight. Makes them safer and more efficient. Plus, you haven't got to pay anyone, have you? Ain't got to pay any pilots. In actual fact, I don't know if you know, but pilots don't do an awful lot on planes. They're there kind of if something goes wrong. The plane can fly it, so they push a couple of buttons, off it goes. That's it. It's all automatic. Perfectly all right. Computers and things like that. Right, a couple of messages coming in. Look at these people. They're desperate to see Mark. Clarissa in Manchester, show us the picture, she says. There's no please. Show us the picture. I can see her now shouting at me. Show it. And Mike in Brighton. Now, why haven't I seen these messages from you, Mike? I beg if I've missed some of your messages out, haven't I? I don't remember seeing these. Anyway, Mike says, I need to see the picture of Mark. Pretty Patel, please. Well, he ain't yours. You ready to see a picture of my Mark? Here he is. Oh, look at him. Grey tracksuit bottoms and all that. Look at that moody look. That's Mike. Sorry, Mike, he's already gone, mate. No, unlucky, mate. Unlucky. There he is. That is a man that will be shortly leaving his girlfriend to come and move in with me. He's bringing his little boy as well. He's got his own room all ready for him. just need to know what to order, you know, a little PlayStation, electric train set or anything like that, I'm going to be his new mummy. And there is my future husband. Isn't that good news, gang? I told you he was good. You didn't believe me, did you? I told you he was good looking. Look at him. Lovely picture. I like that moody look. As you can see, he's probably on there looking for me on Grindr. There you go. Are you happy now, Mark? Mike? Mike also writes here, car tyres. Sorry, I missed this earlier. In an episode of George and Mildred, George swapped an old tyre for a train set with Tristan, the neighbour's son, and passed it off as a space station. I'll let you have one more look at Mark before I put him away. Not for anyone else. Mike says, wow. There you go. All right. Oh, I've come over all queer now. Oh, dear. Oh, I'm so hot now. I'm so hot now. Oh, I've gone the same colour as my backdrop, haven't I there, eh? What's Jason say? Your neighbours are wondering why their oven is still on. Oh, it's very exciting. Oh, shall we have a quick look at the oven app? Let's see what it says on there now. Here we are. 13 minutes left. Okay. 13 minutes left, it says on there. It's great. I love it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I think I'm going to eat 2 sausage rolls and some baked beans. Oh, gosh. Any final messages? Get them in now because we're nearly finished now, gang. How do you feel about this poor bloke? Another story from the Metro. A suspected thief who tried to steal a Toyota Prius's catalytic converter died when the car fell on top of him. Now, let me see what I give about that. No. It's not worrying. Should that worry me? How do you feel about that, eh? Poor man. He died. All he was doing was trying to nick someone's catalytic converter. There's a lot of that going on around here at the moment, apparently. They're very quick. I don't know what they're going to have to do something about that. I don't know what. I'm not a car, but perhaps you're a car mechanic. You can come up with some sort of idea. Or maybe they're already putting them in place. Funny, actually, over the years, how different problems with car theft type things, and we've overcome them. For example, radios. You remember, boys and girls, back in the 70s and 80s? You'd buy yourself a nice, decent radio from Halfords, put it in, only to have it nicked 2 days later. You can't really do that anymore. You've got to take the entire dash off. And, I mean, radios in cars now are not what they were. I remember my mum and dad, and it was ever such a tinny affair. And used to listen to stuff like Sing Something Simple on the way back from the seaside when we were kids. Now they got bass bins, and this is all built into the car. Not easy to nick. They've made it part of the dashboard. So if you want the radio, you've got to take the entire blooming dashboard out, haven't you? And then, of course, car wheels. People used to steal wheels, and along came locking wheel nuts and bits and pieces like that. Now, at the moment, it's catalytic converters. They're nicking those now. And this bloke died. The car fell on top of him. The unnamed victim was flattened by the car in California on Wednesday morning. Workers at a nearby construction company arrived at work to find the body. Firefighters came, pronounced the man dead shortly afterwards. Some bloke saw the victim's corpse before it was removed and said the man's torso and legs were sticking out from underneath the car. There was a little scissor jack under there. Well, what else was he doing other than nicking something from under there? I'm sorry, it serves you right. I'm sorry, serves you right. Don't you think? Is that harsh? Serves you right. Fran says, I think that it's good. That will teach him. It's not fair. Nicking stuff from people. Hate it. Clarissa, karma working at his finest. I'm sure it was Clarissa, yeah? Yeah. Awful. And Mike in Brighton says, I need to send Mark the £10 I borrowed. Can you give me his address? I'm afraid not. That won't be possible. I'm sorry about that. Oh, dear. I'm waiting for Tina to go on holiday. I've actually offered now to pay Tina, his girlfriend, to get her and all her friends a nice little holiday, just a girls' holiday. I think that'd be nice for them. Nice girls' holiday going over to I don't know, Ayia Napa or something like that, and off they'd go on the Monday morning. And by Monday night, I'd be in my car, my darlings. I'd be in my car, I would. Anyway, that's it for the show tonight. I'm going to have my sausage rolls, which will already be cooked for me. And some baked beans. I'm so excited about that. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. Thanks for all your calls. Rory, George and Daniel calling in on the show tonight. Could you like the show on your way out, please? If you can just hit that little thumbs up button that's underneath there. That helps with the YouTube algorithms. I'll be back with another chat show for you on Monday night at 8 o'clock on this channel. Monday night at 8 o'clock on this channel. Tonight, Alan Ross is on Reach on Air at midnight. Okay, midnight till 2 o'clock. Mr. Alan Ross on Reach on Air for your entertainment. So give him a listen tonight as well. I'll be on there on Monday morning at 9 o'clock. Okay, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.